This evening we have an outstanding guest. We have two exemplary guests in the field of education. And of course, we have my co-host, Tara Thomas. Greetings, Tara.
Good afternoon.
We're happy that you're taking time from your busy schedule to be back with us. We have two exemplary people, as I related to my audience. We have Dr. Michelle Vaughn, CEO and founder of Teen and Single Mother Resource Center Incorporated. Yes. And to her left, Ms. April Stallworth. She's a board member of Teen and Single Mother Resource Center Incorporated, and many other things that she's going to tell us about. So I want Tara, first of all, I want you to, well, first of all, let me do this. Have Dr. Vaughn tell our listening audience a little bit about her personal and professional background.
All right. Well, you know, Dr. Brooks, I have to tell the listeners that I was a part of the Tots and Toddlers. 81 class, 1981, I was a graduating class of Tots and Toddlers. So Daisy Brooks, yourself, you helped bring me up in North Chicago. That's where I was raised for the first 11 years of my life.
Wow.
Yes. And I was one of those kids that my parent was late, so you brought me to the house.
I remember.
You brought me to the house.
You're part of the family.
And now she's adopted. Yeah. So say that
now, but that's when the community helped raise, the kids. But long story short, I grew up in North Chicago partially, and partially in Waukegan. Okay. And I the baby of 4, and I went to school, and I graduated from Waukegan High School. Originally went to college on a full track scholarship. Wow. Yeah, and track was my first love. Thought I was going to be the next Jackie Joyner. Okay. But, situations happen. I always say that you win and lose by decisions. And my sophomore year in college, I got pregnant. And I dropped out of college. I was a college dropout. I was suicidal. I was depressed, and I didn't know my purpose. And it was because the prayers of my mother was a praying woman. She prayed me through. And it was because of her prayers and a decision that I made to keep my baby. And that's when I believe God rerouted my path. And that's when purpose began to develop on the inside of me. And long story short, here I am today with a doctoral degree. I'm a homeowner. I'm no longer living below poverty guidelines. I was making $500 a month for 3 years, $6,000 a year, but I was going to school full time. And I believe that through the struggle, God birthed the dream. And today, now I'm proud to be in a position where I can pour back into the same population who need help, which is teen and single mothers today. But prior to this vision, I worked for College of Lake County for 8 years. I was 2 years a recruiter there and 6 years an associate dean. And my role was to work in the Lake County community and develop partnerships with churches, schools, organizations, whereby we provide ESL and GED to educate an adult population who needed it the most. These are adults who are overlooked, but they are parents of the students that we're charged to teach in our schools. So that's what I was doing for 6 years. And today I'm in a nonprofit lane, and I'm doing this full force, and I'm also a public speaker, and I go out and I speak where I'm requested to inspire. So.
Well, we're going to come back to you and get more
Was
detail.
that more than 2 minutes?
We definitely have to give you more detail. But we're going to let April Stallworth, we're going to give you the same opportunity that I gave, and you could have the same 3 minutes that Dr. Vaughn had. Tell us a little bit about your personal professional background.
Okay, I'm glad to be here. My name is April Stallworth, and I'm originally from New Jersey.
Okay.
Affectionately, I call it New Jersey.
Okay.
Still hear a little East Coast flavor in my in my conversation. I moved to Illinois about 5 years ago. Came for a job opportunity, my daughter and she came here and started high school in Illinois. So it was a tough time for her to kind of transition, but about 7 months after I got here, I lost my job. A job that I had relocated 1,000 miles from family and friends for, and it's been a road since that time. But during that time, I was able to complete my master's degree. I'm now in a doctoral program.
I read that. I talked about one.
Yep.
Find out about that program.
big believer in lifelong education. I raised my daughter as a single parent for 18 years. She is now a first-year student at The Ohio State University.
Yes, we discussed that.
Go Bucks. I'm just saying.
That's right.
And during the time when I lost my job when I was in Illinois, I took a lot of time to get involved in the community and to seek out resources for single mothers. And during that time, I really got called to this population because I knew here I was with an educational background, with a lot of skills. I'm an executive administrative assistant by day, and I was having a tough time. So I said, how much harder is it for the 14-year-old who's alone, who doesn't have any education? And so I got involved with a lot of nonprofits and different organizations in the area, and that's what drew me to Dr. Vaughn, which we can talk about how she and I hooked up. And then now here I am, fully employed, again, gainfully, daughter in college, pursuing my own education, and now a board member of Dr. Vaughn's organization. And I have my own coaching business as well that I've been doing for several years. I've been coaching women through a lot of different transitions in their lives, dysfunctional relationships, low self-esteem, all the same things that I suffered with for many years. And then I've been really directed to now the single mother population because I think I have a lot to offer them, having gone through many of the same issues that they all go through.
It's going to be really exciting.
I think this is such an exciting topic, and I don't even know if we can get everything in an hour that we have. But I am interested to know how you and Dr. Vaughn, Dr. Michelle Vaughn, connected. I know I saw her, I think in November or October at an event, and of all the people on the panel, she was the only one I wanted to saw. No disrespecting, right? I thought she was phenomenal when you read her background, and because my vision was very similar to what she went through. But I think that you took your vision, and would you tell us what you've taken your vision and how you've expanded on it? Because I see it from back in college 10 years ago to where it is today.
Well, basically, my vision has everything to do with my life. It's all the ingredients that involved overcoming obstacles. How did God take me from sleeping on an air mattress to owning a home? How did he take me from sitting on my seatbelt to driving a Jaguar and purchasing cars for my parents? How did God take me from wiping down fitness equipment, that was my only skill at the time, to becoming an associate dean in a matter of 2 years when I didn't have any administrative experience? It was because of my faith, okay? And I'm not ashamed of my faith, and I never will be, because that's a key ingredient, in my opinion, for vision casting. And so everything that I had gone through in terms of being a young mom, I was 19 and pregnant. I got married young. I didn't know what I was doing, but I tried to make a bad situation to a good situation, had 2 beautiful sons from it. And today, to be in a position where I'm able to take care of my parents, who was once taking care of me and helping me, that is a blessing. How do I help other mothers who are single, who are charged to raise the next generation alone? Because in this country, we have 12 million single parents, and 80% are moms, and half of them are living in poverty. That's a problem.
That is a problem.
So how do I inspire mothers who are living in poverty to begin to see that they now can become and create a new blueprint in their household and create a new academic identity for their children? They have to first believe that they have purpose. That's in order for you to go back to school, we always say, go back to school, education completion, get your degree. For what?
Right.
For what?
That's true.
If you can answer that for what, now you have that aha. Now you know your purpose. And when you know your purpose, then you're going to go through those courses, you're going to go see that tutor, you're going to dedicate yourself to the process so you can get to your finish line, your purpose. And that's what the Teen and Single Mothers Resource Center is all about. It's about helping mothers equip them, empower them, and educate them. If I tell a mom to build a house and I give her the proper tools, she's not going to be able to do it.
Exactly.
So we give them the tools that they need.
Well, where is that located?
So our center is in Waukegan. We're on 2770 Grand Avenue. We're right inside of State Career College.
Okay.
We're located right inside of State Career College. But here's a unique thing about our organization. We serve a population of moms, not only teen moms, from 18 through 34. Many of the organizations who serve teen moms, they stop at like maybe 23 or 24. We go up to the age of 34 because, like I said, personally, I believe that single mothers in their 20s and in their 30s, they need help the most.
They do.
They're scarce of resources in the county. And our goal with our organization is to help moms to stop living in a state of emergency. You know, we have a long line at Catholic Charities, a long line at DHS, but stop living in a state of emergency. How do you do that? Education is the core foundation. So pretty much we have mobile services. We go out into the community, we eliminate that transportation barrier. I can't make it to your center, well, we'll come to you. We're saying, hey churches, we're knocking on your door. Open your door. Do you have single moms there? We'll come to you. Hey schools, if you have a single mom population of the students who are here and they need help with their GED or ESL or parenting or financial aid or scholarship information, we'll come to you schools if you open your door.
Well, and that's wonderful. I don't know, are you familiar with Girls Connected? Have you heard of them?
Girls Connected.
Jody, I can't think of Jody's last name.
Passion Outreach.
Right.
Yes.
I think that's what they're.
We've connected with them as well.
Okay, because I was going to ask to get.
They're
we
doing
could
an
do
amazing
that.
job.
They are at the high school.
Amazing.
But Ms. Stallworth, I was going to ask you when you were here for 7 months, because I can imagine how that is. Because when you relocate, because I'm relocated. I'm from Detroit, and if I'd gotten here and my husband told me 7 months he don't have a job, we would have a real problem. Because that's a serious move. So when that happened, how did you go on? What inspired you? What type of vision? What made you stay?
Right. Well, the first thing was I got on my knees and I prayed. And I asked God for direction. I knew our moving here had not been an accident and that it had purpose in it. And that job was meant to get me here, but it wasn't what God had for me to do here.
Okay.
So the first thing I did was pray. And I had started working on my faith some years ago, so it came to the test when I got here. And so now all the things I had been practicing and preaching to other women, now it was time for me to walk that out. So that was the first thing that I did. And then again, like I said, I started getting involved in the community where I was living. I didn't even know where I was living. I didn't know what I was surrounded by. I knew where I used to work, and I knew where my daughter went to school, and I knew where we lived. But I didn't know all the things that were surrounding us and the services that were available and the people. And so I went back to my skills and what I had been doing before I came here, which was coaching women. And so I started volunteering. And I started seeking out organizations that served women. And then I started connecting with different nonprofits. Matter of fact, one of the nonprofits hired me. And then that's how I met Dr. Vaughn.
Okay.
The nonprofit organization that I was working with as a consultant knew of Dr. Vaughn. We went to go talk to her when she was a dean at the College of Lake County. We wanted her to speak at our event. We wanted her to be involved with us, and so then we made the connection. Next thing I know, she hired me. And I started doing some work for her at the College of Lake County. But I tell moms, you start with prayer, but then you got to get up off your knees.
You do.
You have to get up.
Right.
You can't pray your way up. You got to actually get up and get out and start connecting and start doing something about your situation. And before I knew it, I had become gainfully employed. 4 years passed. My daughter's graduating high school. I mean, things just started moving. But it was tough. It was very tough. But with my faith and with pursuing education and connecting with the right people, all things were possible.
Right, because prayer without action is
That's right.
wasted. You know,
That's
the Lord
right.
says you make one, I'll make two, and He will do
That's
that.
right.
I think that it is a phenomenal way that you two ladies have come together. Hopefully, I'm going to be part of that group because I love seeing powerful women doing powerful, positive things, and we have all very similar visions. We really do. And this community is so in need of both of you. One good thing is Dr. Vaughn is from this community, and you've adopted the community. You know, we have a lot in common. So I was wondering, what is your motivation factor to succeed? You said it's your prayer, it's grace. Is that your motivation?
That's my core. Is my faith, definitely. And my daughter.
Oh, amen.
You know, I want to be her ultimate role model. I don't want her to have to look outside of her home to see a woman who's been through obstacles, who's been through challenges, but relies on her faith to get her through. And then, you know, education-wise, I want my daughter to be a college graduate.
Yes.
She's well on her way to doing that because she saw mommy doing homework with her.
Yes.
So while I pursued my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, I was a single mother. And so I tell moms, your dreams of education are still possible. They're still valid. You can still attain the things that you say you want to attain, and it's not an excuse to say, well, I've got 2, 3, 4 kids.
Yes.
I can, yeah, you can do this.
Yes.
And they need to see you doing it. They need to see that motivation and that encouragement at home. That's
Well,
where
what
it
is your
starts.
5-year plan for your center?
Oh, well, hello. We shifted.
Where'd that come from, right? Because I think I don't know if it's a shift, because I think that what you're doing is going in that direction.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You know, I believe wholeheartedly in vision casting, and it's particularly for the Teen and Single Mothers Resource Center. Our goal is to make sure that each one reach one. So every mom that walks through our doors, we want to make sure that we hear their issue, but that we're solution oriented, and that we begin to build up moms where this can become a livable community again. Because there was once upon a time where North Chicago, not just North Chicago, but even the surrounding areas, it was a livable community.
Yes.
I remember growing up here, we had jewels, we had a livable, kids played outside without fearing for their lives.
Yes.
Our goal is to make sure that with the Teen and Single Mothers Resource Center, that moms become educated, that moms become homeowners. They don't depend on public assistance, but they become self-sufficient. And in the self-sufficiency, that's where you find your power. And that's where you stand up taller, and that's when your kids begin to rise up. So we want to teach mothers that the seeds that they birth, they're now charged to water them, because without watering them defined as their kids, they're going to be dehydrated from encouragement, and that's where you're going to see kids acting up in the school systems, and that's you're going to see an angry generation because they're fatherless. So we want to help moms understand that they have the power to raise up a generation and reverse the curse, starting with them.
So what type of services specifically will, what type of service can a woman expect to receive, a young lady, at the Teen and Single Mother Resource Center?
Because I'm getting old and I don't want to charge to memory.
That's what the brochure is for.
Right, we have, and the services are called I-Rise services, because no one rises to low expectations. So we want to make sure that the mothers who tap into our services, and they're free for the entire community, that they rise to higher expectations. So we provide home ownership referrals and workshops. We provide college transition assistance. We provide distance learning assistance. So for moms who cannot go to a physical school and maybe distance learning is an opportunity for them, we will assist them in the process of becoming enrolled in whatever school.
When you say distance, you mean internet?
Online learning, yes.
I just want to make sure
Yes.
that they get that.
Okay. Also, GED tutoring, ESL tutoring, because we have a lot of moms who can't speak English. So it's not that they don't want to be connected in the school with the teachers. They cannot understand, and they depend on their kids to interpret what's going on. So we want to make sure that moms understand the language, that again empowers the family, and that they become on one accord. We have moms who are walking around in their 40s and in their 50s who do not have a GED.
Yes.
How can they assist at home with homework? Right?
That is a
so
major
our goal
problem.
is to make sure we say, hey, school, if you open your door on Saturday, we'll come and set up a GED tutoring session for the moms of the students who come here.
I know with the charter schools that's coming, they want to have an after-school program, so I need to talk with you guys
Okay.
about that. And it's just specifically geared toward the women or parents who feel they're inept and they don't have a GED, and so they cannot assist their kids with homework.
And they feel insecure. We also provide Dr. Stallworth here. I say doctor because she's working on her doctorate.
That's
and I
right.
just believe in speaking those things.
Amen.
She provides one-on-one life coaching, but we also have another board member, Dr. Erica Wyatt, who's dynamic. She's also another inspirational coach. So, and our coaching is not traditional, meaning that we don't have to coach you face-to-face. If you're a mom and you're in New Jersey or you're in Detroit, we can coach you over the phone, through FaceTime, Google Hangout. You know, we want to make sure that you have that voice in your ear of support to say, you can make it. I believe in you.
Well, if you're doing this and they can call you on the phone, you're not charging, how are you guys funded? How are you able to do this?
Right.
So if there's a need for
absolutely.
support.
Yeah.
So right now we are operating by volunteers and donations.
Okay.
That's it. Volunteers and donations is getting the job done. I don't receive a salary for this. This is what I'm called to do, and I feel like I owe God this, because everything He's done in my life, I owe Him this. I'm not getting rich by helping people monetarily, but every time I touch Him, my heart gets rich. Every time I'm able to say, you can do it, I know I'm in my right lane. God called me to do this. So we're not getting paid for this, but this is what we're charged to do.
Well, you need funding.
Yes.
Everyone needs, in order to keep those lights on and keep those doors on.
That's another thing.
So the church, I was just wondering, have you spoken with the churches in the community, or do the pastor's ministry association?
Here's the thing. We've been reaching. My thing is we're just brand new. Okay. So I want to make sure that yes, I'm from this community, and the community knows me from my role when I was a dean at the College of Lake County. But now I transition. I have a different hat on. I think that credibility is key. So I want to make sure that we gain some credibility within our local community by not begging right away. We want to make sure that you understand the quality of what we're providing you for free. And then also we want to demonstrate outcomes. These are people, they're not numbers. And it takes time for people to begin to demonstrate outcomes. So in terms of funding for building and lights, we received our building, we don't pay anything right now. It's by favor. We partner with who we're with right now. And so we have a center. And so everything has just been by favor. The radio station we have is by favor. So I can't explain to you what's going on. I just know that we're flowing into it. Yes. We're just walking by faith, and we're just trying to say, hey, let's be a part of the solution. We want to help.
Dr. Vaughn, I can remember while you were a dean at the College of Lake County, you did an outstanding job. But that was something in your vision, in your mind, that you want to do more. But what was that that caused you to leave a successful program that you're in to go to do the things that you're doing?
Well, here's the thing, it wasn't a decision of my own. The institution and the division that I was working for, which is adult basic education, is grant funded. Because we didn't meet certain grant guidelines, the money was disappearing, and so my position disappeared. So, but it was the right timing. I wasn't upset about it. I was actually happy because I was now released to do full-time what my heart has always wanted to do. And so I continue in the same vein. I'm continuing to serve. It's just that now my population is very targeted. So. Okay.
Very good. Then, Ms. Stallworth, to coaching, what directed your vision into coaching?
Well, I got started with coaching probably almost 10 years ago. And as a result of some of the things that I mentioned that I've been through with dysfunctional relationships in my life, unfortunately, self-esteem issues, things like that, once I started to put the finger inward and realized that I needed to make some changes in my life, and I was able to put the oxygen mask on myself first, then I could start being able to help another woman who was dealing with maybe some of the same issues that I was dealing with. And so I got certified as a professional life coach, and I started just helping women who would hear me talk in different avenues, or they would read an article that I had posted, or read a journal that I was featured in, and I just started connecting with different women who were going through some of the same issues, because we just all have that commonality as women. And so it just naturally progressed, and I felt God calling me to that work, and I just started doing it. And then as I came to Illinois and went through some of the issues and struggles that I went through, I got drawn to the single mother population. And so, God just basically told me, use whatever's in your hand. And it was my coaching skills. So
I like the motto you used, least likely to succeed, but the most in need. Would you elaborate?
Sure. The least likely, this is a population that is overlooked, which is least likely to succeed, but most in need is your fatherless. The least likely to succeed, but most in need is your ex-offender. We don't believe, do we believe that the ex-offender can actually become successful after their release behind bars? The least likely to succeed but the most in need is your uneducated, undereducated adult who doesn't have the GED, or who is illiterate in their own first language, which is your immigrant population, Spanish-speaking population. They can't read in their own native language, and they can't speak our language. So our goal is to say, hey, we see you. We see you, and we believe that we can help you if you believe that you can rise up to a higher level. So that's the population that we're paying attention to. And when I was a dean at the College of Lake County, going back to the ex-offender population, it was really dear to my heart because I'm raising 2 sons, and their father has been incarcerated for the past 14 years now, serving 25-year sentence. Okay. So I have been co-parenting on the front lines with the man behind bars raising 2 sons. I can't teach them how to be a man, but I dedicated myself to be an example to these young minority men, to teach them how to overcome obstacles, to teach them integrity, to teach them what character looks like. So I really take pride in that, and I believe that, you know, with everything that's going on right now in our education system, and everything that's happening on the front lines regarding home base, ex-offenders and inmates, unfortunately, they committed a crime. We know that. They're serving it. Statistics, they have statistics that said, you know, 10 years ago there was 5 private prisons with 2,000 inmates. Today we have 100 private prisons with 62,000 inmates. In the next decade they're projecting 360,000 more prisoners. Where are they getting their numbers? Well, they're saying that by the time a child is in the 3rd and 4th grade, if they can't read or write, they're going to be incarcerated. Now, are we recruiting in the school systems for our prisons to grow?
Okay.
That's a problem for me. So I have to be a part of the solution. I may not be able to reach everyone. I don't have a cape on. I'm just saying I have to pay attention to the available parent. And the available parent right now happens to be the mother. So our goal is to make sure that mothers understand what's available to them and begin to empower them.
That statistic that you just quoted, it's easy to understand because if a child is having difficulty by 3rd grade, each grade they're going to get further and further behind, and by the time that child gets into high school, it's going to be so difficult, that child's going to drop out, and then what happens, they do things that's going to cause them to be incarcerated, and there's, so whoever devised that statistic, I mean, they were right on target.
Yeah. I mean, every year this country experiences 750,000 young girls becoming pregnant. Every year. They're making these decisions because obviously there's voids that they're not able to handle. And then when you only have one single parent, if the mama's working 2 jobs, who's at home raising the kids? And if you have an older sibling and younger siblings, you have the older sibling that's watching the younger kids. So if your older siblings at school and they're in poverty, 40%, you know, I just quoted you, 12 million single parents, 80% are mothers, and 40% are living below poverty. How can they even understand the knowledge if they're hungry inside your classroom? And then another issue is that how can you teach who you can't reach? Okay. I'm just saying, you know, I have all these, you know, you got to know who's sitting in front of you. You have to understand where they come from, and then you begin to inject the knowledge that they need.
Because they really don't have the dreams, you know, they can't dream. Now, when I was in preteen, I guess, used to go down to my grandfather's sharecropper, right? And I used to go down with him. He would to go to the country store to sell his crops, you know, and so forth. And there's only one set of books. And so I knew then something was wrong. There should be 2 sets of books. And I decided at that age, that time, pre-high school, that I was going to major in business. And you know, you see what happened, that's the best thing that could have happened to me. But that determined by my direction, where I am now, by the incident that happened as a child. And I relate that in just so plain as in trying to teach others the same way. But back to women, and they're building more prisons now for women now. Why are the population of women increasing so?
Well, you know what? I can't answer as to why. I do know that, you know, you win and lose by decisions. People are hurting. You know, people are walking around, Dr. Brooks, and they're hurting. Women are hurting. We're carriers by nature. You know, we carry naturally, and you know, we carry a lot of pain walking around. And I'm not saying that the pain produces the crime. I'm just saying that there's reasons why people are doing what they're doing. But if you don't have the education, if you don't know how to read, you know, you feel insecure. insecure. I would think that you would feel very insecure. You feel at a disadvantage. And so what are your resources? If no one in your family has ever completed a college education, you don't have that blueprint, and you have other people who are saying this is another option and it's not legal, but it produces immediate results for meeting your basic needs, you know? I mean...
Well, in coaching, again, too, what do you think about teaching the GED test? We know that a minimum you need a GED test. If you don't have a high school diploma GED, you can't even get a warehouse job because you're going to have to know computers to find out where that item is located in the warehouse, right? But what do you think about teaching GED? Is that the answer?
I think that's the answer for some of this population that needs that assistance. And, you know, Dr. Vaughn can speak more to it, but just recently they changed the GED test.
Okay,
And so I believe the GED test now is harder.
Absolutely.
Is it now computer based?
Okay, right.
Yes, it's online.
It's online.
But if you can't read, you know, that's another difficult.
We have a lot of hurdles with this new test. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're the expert in that area.
Jump right in. But no, the issue is this: do we really want to see the least likely succeed? And I say that because what this new GED test has done, in my opinion, it has created more hurdles for people who are already at a disadvantage to accomplish a basic education. Literally in 2014, January 1st, the test went on. It used to be paper and pencil. But now they have to use a computer. We're talking about a population who may be computer illiterate. So now they have to self-register themselves, and the cost of the test went from $50 to $120, at least in Lake County. So, and you have to pay by credit card. We're talking about a population who may not even have a checking account or debit card. So, I mean, and the content has definitely has increased itself, and it's become more difficult. So who are we really trying to see succeed? The last time I checked with the Regional Office of Education, they had 34 individuals in Lake County that completed their GED exam, compared to this time last year, 1,132 individuals who completed the GED exam. It's not working. 34 people in this county completed the GED compared to 1,100 people last year. It's not working.
So I guess we can see where that's leading to.
Absolutely.
And well, why don't we just hit on it, the privatization of prisons.
Well, you know.
Is that,
you know.
And I mention that because the cost of one inmate to be incarcerated, about $40,000 per year in Illinois, but federal prisoners about $90,000 to $100,000 a year.
Oh yeah, New York $56,000 per prisoner.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
You know, we spend more money on our prisoners, $80 billion a year in this country, on our correctional facilities than we do on our school systems. You know, teachers are struggling trying to find pencils and pens, and you know, meanwhile our prisoners are well taken care of. I'm just saying, you know, they're employed behind bars. Do they have to re-offend to get employed?
Right.
A lot of jobs are behind bars, and I know people may not like what I'm saying, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth anyhow. They don't have. You can't make people hire ex-offenders, but if they position themselves to demonstrate to the prospective employer that, hey, I am hireable, meaning since I've been out, I've dedicated some time in my own education, I've invested in myself, I went back to school. You know, people want to see that you have some commitment now that you're out, because I can only imagine that when you're behind bars, you can dream about what you will do once you become released. But once you're out, now what are you going to do to invest in yourself? And I say that because I'm thinking of a person when I was a dean at CLC who I assisted. It was a young man who spent 17 years behind bars for first-degree murder. He came to see me for assistance. He wanted a job. So I challenged him because he went for months looking for a position. No one would hire him. And I said, you know what? You've been incarcerated for a while, and you came out unemployed. And right now, people who have not been incarcerated are also unemployed. Now, what skills do you have? What is your purpose? He said, I never had anyone ask me what's my purpose. I said, well, you have a purpose. So he began to say, well, I'm really good at, you know, cooking. When I was behind bars, I was good at butchering. I said, wait a minute, you know, you were already incarcerated for murder. I said, do you mean to tell me that you worked in the kitchen? And he said, yes. I said, okay. I had to re-educate him. Your new term is culinary arts. That's what we're accustomed to. So it was a teachable moment, but it was a genuine moment. And so from that moment, he became enrolled at the College of Lake County. Financial aid was, and we went through some hurdles, but I walked with him to each office because I did not expect him to know what to say because he had been incarcerated for 17 years. Who am I to just say, hey, go to the admissions office and figure it out? That's not how you help people. I'm a leader because I'm a servant. And I believe when you serve first, the leadership already just takes place. So I walked him to each department. Long story short, he became enrolled in our culinary arts program. So he has to, you have to invest in yourself first.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. Well, you know, we always ask the question, is education taken seriously in Lake County?
Well, I mean, it depends. Do you want to speak on that or?
Roll.
Keep it rolling. You want me to keep it rolling?
You're on the roll. You're on the roll now.
I'll piggyback.
No, it's such an important issue. You know?
Yes.
Education, like I said earlier, you know, education has to make sense to people who are going back to school. In terms of taken seriously in Lake County, like I mentioned, if you have 70,000 adults in Lake County who do not have a GED, right?
Okay.
And say half of those adults are parents of the students that we were educating in this generation. And then say half of the parents are working 2 jobs or they're not working at all or they're living in poverty. You know, what blueprint do our young people really begin to see? And then on the front lines in terms of our school system, you know, if we're talking about an urban community like North Chicago, you know, do they see in terms of who looks like them on the front lines of the teaching lines, the leadership staff? Is it diverse enough for me to believe that one day that can be me? For me to believe that one day I can become a math teacher because I see you look like me and, you know, you kind of sound like me, that makes a big difference in terms of creating that visual aid that our young people need to see, because obviously it's working on the flip side in terms of what we don't want them to be. They're seeing rappers, they're seeing fast money, they're seeing all these other things that are creating this visual opportunity of quick money, quick cash. They're attracted to the visual aid. We need to flip the script and say, hey, education works and this is how it looks. And this is how it talks, and this is how it walks, and this is how it can benefit you. But they don't see that. So it's not that it's not taken seriously, it's just that right now it's a blank moment for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, we talk about the online and then the community forum, community focus, or whatever you, but I don't think that we're doing enough to get the young people exposed to the field. And I will be doing more having guests, youth from the high school, you know, so they can, and I think that would be very, very important because they have to have some role models, have to be in a position to, because you guys were both talk show hosts, right?
Yes, new to the game.
New to the game. I think you mentioned about just a couple of months or so forth.
Well, we're in our second month, right?
Is the second month?
We did November.
Yes.
And now we're going to do it in December.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, what population are you reaching?
Moms all over the country. So pretty much we have an online radio TV talk show. It's called No Single Mom Left Behind. That's our show title. And we're reaching 93 countries, 9 networks. And it's every Saturday at 10 a.m., gmap1.com. So we're able to discuss
fantastic.
every area regarding single parenting, and we had a guest last week, very inspiring in terms of overcoming obstacles and how she, you know, maintains her single parenting. Our goal is just to equip and empower moms. You know, that's what we're trying to do.
Well, what do you see yourself in 10 years now? You're just getting started, and you left one side of the mission at CLC, and now you're doing a greater work. That's a greater need of what you're doing now. But what do you see in 10 years from now?
Well, you know what? 10 years. 10 years.
Well, I know it's maybe a little far, maybe even 5 years from now. You know, because it's a great population that you need the service.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I'm working on my second book right now. I published my first book in 2012, and I'm working on my second book. I really love writing. I believe that words are very powerful. I want to maintain good standing in terms of an author, to continue to write empowering books. But I also see myself doing a lot of traveling, speaking and empowering lives all over the world, just to let people know that their past is not their potential. As my apostle always says, that's my calling. That's what I'm charged to do. But I see the center becoming it's going to stand on its own. We're right now just creating the ingredients for the foundation. Okay. But 5-10 years from now, I envision us having a transitional home for moms. I envision an educational center for moms, a fitness center, holistic center for moms. So a place where they can go and we can meet every area in their lives, spiritual, mental, physical, all the areas, so we can equip the entire family. I envision that 10 years from now. It's going to be state of the art.
What about coaching?
Absolutely.
What do you see coaching?
Right. I hope to be the owner of a multi-million-dollar coaching enterprise, Strong Women, Strong Lives. I'll definitely have my doctorate by then. Okay. So Dr. Stallworth, be the mother of a very successful screenwriter. Yes. And my daughter, maybe on the red carpet at the Oscars. That would be nice. But just connected very similarly to what Dr. Vaughn is talking about. I can see a school for pregnant teens, single moms, where they can, further their education in an environment with people just like them and encouraging each other and forming that community that I think we so desperately need. People are so spread out now from their families, and they don't have that same sense of community. Just in coming here, I could feel that. Like there's no same sense of community for people who are in similar situations. You got families clear across the country. Just it's different than when I grew up and when you talked about you growing up. But just we knew our neighbors. Our neighbors could discipline us. We can go in other people's houses and feel safe. We don't have a lot of that today. So I want to be a part of helping to form that community, especially for single mothers, so that they can start raising this generation in a different way than they're being raised today.
Dr. Vaughn, how do you market your services? Because truly I hadn't heard of it until you told me about it. I guess the Coalition to Reduce Recidivism, I say, sooner or later, we're going to get her to let Lake County know more about it. But how do you market?
Yeah, so we're just started this year. 2014 was in January. We just started sampling our, and at that time I was still working for the college, so I wasn't able to fully venture out into the nonprofit because my commitment was with the institution. But just this summer, once I was released from the institution, we just started. We have a website. It's teenandsinglemom.com, where we market our services online. We also have a Facebook fan page, and we also send out flyers and brochures, and we also have a constant contact that we use. So we're just now getting the engine going in terms of letting the community know who we are and what we're here to do.
I mentioned about how serious Lake County is about, helping the least
likely to
succeed. Since you left Tossin Tallis Daycare Center a few years ago, Dr. Brooks has gone into alternative school, and so forth. But the seriousness of it, we had 60 kids contract with the high school, and last year we had 30. But those were youngsters that had been suspended, expelled, and so forth. And we have to pat myself on the back, take them, these ones we had the contract with, and we were turning these kids around. They were graduating, getting it from high school. The high school that let them go, they were graduating from them because we had the same textbooks and same programs, at the high school. But Tara was one of the instructors there, and she showed love for the kids, and this made a big difference. Of course, she didn't have 25 or 30 in the classroom either, and so forth. So thinking now, expelled, suspended, now they graduated from high school, making it marketable, this type of thing. But This year, the superintendent decided, or the school district, whatever, that they were not going to renew the contract, that they could do the same thing in-house. Now, I'm wondering about, now here's another 30, 60 kids going to be lost because they're going to be expended and expelled again because they're not going to change in that environment that they came from, you know. And so that's a little, but we haven't given up yet, and we're still working to try to get the program back, because I think that's really I want to know how serious is Lake County feels about. But then I see that, tell us about the structure, the millions of dollars been spent for the downtown expansion of the courthouse and the prison and so forth.
In terms of?
Right down on County Street, you know, to get sort of plans for the building a larger facilities for prisons, you know. So you either gonna, it'll cheaper for education than it would be for prison, right?
You know, it's unfortunate.
So it kind of mind-boggling, but we just have to, like you say, pray, keep praying and so forth. Something will work out, you know.
And I just want to follow what you mentioned. You should pat yourself on the back because you and Dr. Brooks have been involved in this community for a long time. Your hearts have been connected in so many different areas. And so I personally, and I recall, you know, at Daisy's Resource Center, when we would have our GED classes there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we did. We partnered with you all, and we had our night classes. We had ESL. I recall those moments. But I also recall when I was walking through the halls after I had a meeting with Dr. Daisy Brooks one time, and I recall one of the teachers was teaching the group of students at that time. And what I saw was a small classroom full of students who were paying attention because there was, like you said, the care factor was there. The environment feels different. Sometimes we learn differently in different environments. And so you can know as much as you can. You can have 1,000 degrees, but if you don't care, it'll never come to pass in a person's life. You will never be able to reach them, and you will never be able to teach them because you don't have that caring factor. And I just believe for certain school districts, you have to be in tune with what's going on in that community, not just that building, because the community is coming inside the building. You understand what I'm saying? The community, the issues of the community are coming inside of one building. And if you're not in tune with the community and the heartbeat of that community, and you come with an attitude that you don't want to learn, or you're not teachable, you're not going to reach that community. And you're going to continue to see the dropout rate. We have 1.3 million high school students in this country who drop out of high school every year. 1.3 million. And in the state of Illinois, you got 1.4 million adults in this state who needs a GED. So I'm just saying, we see the issue. So
not just North Chicago,
no,
it's
a countrywide thing, it's an issue. But Lake County, I believe, 2 years ago, we had 900 students in Lake County who dropped out. But there's a reason why they drop out. So I really applaud you all for what you did with the alternative school, and I do hope that you continue to do so, and the school district change their mind.
We're working on it, dear. We was at the city council just last night, and the city council had agreed to get with us and see what they could do. So, you know, bits and pieces. We got state representative. So now it's mostly kind of political thing now, you know, but whatever it takes, you know. I noticed that you formed a not-for-profit organization, and why is it necessary to have a not-for-profit?
Well, the thing is I don't get any money from this, okay? It's not a profit for me. It's not a profit for us. The profit is building up the life of another person. We're people architects, you know, literally, and that's a hard job. You know, it's difficult when April has to coach a young lady and help her change her mentality. That's difficult work, right? That's harder than any architect who's building a house, because literally you're uprooting a lot of things that were planted that wasn't supposed to be there. And so the nonprofit is all about being a service to the community and to all that we're charged to reach. So this is not about us becoming rich women. This is about us being servants. And then from that, whatever happens from that, it will come about. But That's why.
I can identify with you. Just ask Dr. Daisy Brooks. She hasn't seen a salary in the last 3 or 4 years.
Absolutely.
No salary. You know, She just loves what she's doing.
She's a servant to the core.
So both of you, you're breaking the chain, then, right? That has been existed. Like you say, we have several people, even the professionals, say with their first college graduate, and then their families, you know.
Yeah.
But the chain is broken then, and they'll follow through with their children too.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's big.
And you're probably first college graduate in your family too.
No, actually, my sister is.
Ah.
My sister is the first.
That's why you're the baby.
Yeah, I'm the baby. I followed after her footsteps, so yes.
That's New Jersey. I think my daughter retired from, I think, the AT&T. Was that in Somerset? If I remember,
Yep,
I
right.
do remember it.
AT&T and Somerset.
You know, when you get old like I am, there are 3 things get away from me. The first thing that go is the memory. I don't remember the other 2. But I do remember Somerset, New Jersey.
That's right.
Rutgers is nearby.
That's
and
right.
This time we went there and
Yep.
so forth, you know. But you said your job brought you here, right?
I had a job opportunity
Okay.
that was here. It wasn't with the company that I was with when I was in New Jersey. I left New Jersey as an employee of Verizon Wireless, and then I came here under a different company's umbrella and got offered a promotion and a good opportunity.
We hear so much about charter schools. What is your take on charter schools?
I'm not too familiar with the details of a charter school. I'm still learning. And with everyone else about the charter school and why a charter school. So
The public schools were not working for many reasons, I guess. You know, high dropout rates, this type of thing. But so charter schools are formed, and I'm just wondering. And I think Tara left. I was going to have her talk a little bit about the charter schools that she's trying to start. You know. I'm not sure about the success. I think they have more graduates on the base now. Well, I'm just North Chicago, because I don't think they're in Waukegan, are they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Waukegan said no. We're going to educate our own children. You know. Okay. So you felt that you made the right decision. Your soul, you're happy with what you're doing. You have a worker. Tell us about I know the structure of your board.
Okay.
And their duties and so forth. You know, this type of thing.
We have a dynamic board. I've just been really blessed with the women who have come alongside the vision. It's difficult sometimes when you're trying to ignite people and let them know this is the vision that I have and to buy in. But we have, it's 6 of us currently right now. We're 2 years in the making in terms of our executive board. And one of our board of directors, she has her doctorate as well. She is also a faculty member in Wisconsin, and she's also she works in higher education as an administrator for University of Wisconsin-Madison, I believe. Dr. Erica Wyatt. Other board members, she's a vice president of the Teen and Single Mothers Resource Center. On the board, Dr. Sharon Sanders-Fanier, and she's an assistant. She's a director for the Educational Trio program for CLC. But she's also has years of experience in nonprofits. She was a director for the Boys and Girls Club of Lake County. This was about 10 years ago. She gave me my first start. So we definitely, she's on board. We also have Kimberly Woods, who's very involved in the North Chicago community. I also believe she's
Kim Woods.
Kim Woods, you know Kim Woods.
Right. I know the whole family. As a matter of fact, she's active in the Exchange Club.
Absolutely.
The North Chicago Exchange Club.
So she's on our board, and we also have an attorney on our board, Jackie Herrera Garan. Is it Garan or Duran? Garan. She's also on our board. She's an immigration attorney, and she's also running for alderman at the moment.
Oh, okay.
But she's dynamic, and it's Dr. Stallworth and myself. So in 2015, we will be growing our board, and we will be having an advisory council as well. So we're just taking our time and trying to head in the right direction.
It's so important, and I think you alluded to that, or stated that being involved in the community makes a big difference as far as the breaking a chain with the children in the community.
Yeah.
You have to be involved where they can see you in the community.
That's right.
You have to be touchable. You have to be reachable. You have to be down to earth. You know, you have to know when to switch, you know. Yes, I'm educated, but at the same time, I can talk to you.
Okay.
You know, sometimes they're intimidated by that, and you have to use wisdom and be able to not be afraid of a population that needs help. You know, why would fear even exist? You understand if love overpowers it, you know? When love is there, fear is absent. Right? So that's my opinion.
Right.
So, you know, wherever your heart is, that's where your treasure is. So we know that we're meant to do this work.
Right. Okay, it's the same thing in employment too. If all employees, well, I give Abbott, I don't work at Abbott, so I can't mention that. If all the employees there, when it's time to go home, they leave the community. They're employed by Abbott, but they leave the community, don't invest anything in the community.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's difficult. I believe personally that you put your money where your concern is. Period.
Right.
And so if you're concerned about the community that we identify has a lot of problems, then start donating. Start donating in nonprofits. Start donating. Give donations to schools, you know, if you're concerned about it. If not, then, you know, it is what it is.
Well, I want to thank you very much, both of you. Dr. Michelle Vaughn.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Got her early start at Tots and Tyler's Daycare Center, you know, and doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
We're very proud of you there.
Thank you.
We CEO and founder of Teen and Single Mother Resource Center Incorporated, located in Waukegan, headquartered in Waukegan. And Ms. April Stallworth, a fantastic board member.
Yes.
Doctoral candidate in Teen and Single Mothers Resource Incorporated. We've been talking about education completion for the least likely to succeed.
Absolutely.
That's a great vision, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you have enjoyed the dialogue between our exemplary guests, Dr. Vaughn and April Stallworth, doctoral candidate, board member on Teen and Single Mothers Resource Center Incorporated. This has been Community Forum. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host.